Welcome to Business Made in Montana. I'm Chris Zelke. When you sit down for a nice meal at your favorite restaurant, you may think those exotic mushrooms are shipped in from far away. But beautiful mushrooms just like these are being grown just west of Missoula in the tiny town of Husan.
Mushrooms have a mystique about them.
The first documented sighting of shiitake cultivation was around 1500 years ago in one of the provinces in China. And it was an emperor's mushroom. He loved the mushroom, and anybody that would go out and gather the mushrooms for the emperor would be, highly rewarded. Shiitake naturally grows on a tree called the shi tree, S-H-I-I, hence the name shiitake. The last four letters, T-A-K-E, is the Chinese term for mushroom. So it's the mushroom of the shi tree. And they would found out if they took branches or sections of these downed trees where the shiitake were growing back with them to the emperor's palace and keep them moist, keep them in an environment similar to where they found them, that they would extend the life of the mushroom season. And that made the emperor very happy. Well, we got the opportunity to go to China or began to realize the opportunity in late 2001.
Pulling up in our tour bus, and there being about 30,000 people who hadn't ever seen an American before, a white person.
The biggest hurdle in a Chinese person's life is truly feeding themselves due to the lack of agriculture in China. And the will and the way of those people to farm and work the small amount of land that they had was truly amazing. And we utilize a lot of that here too. We maximize our space. We work in a real, tight protocol of making sure things work right. And it was evident to see, their facilities are quite, considered probably by us rugged, but they worked, and they got the same quality mushroom that we get here.
And it started out where I just mostly helped with a lot of the, just day-to-day stuff, the picking and all of that stuff down at the farm.
I've got one guy working for us right now. Mainly we produce shiitake mushrooms. I would have to say that we are a shiitake mushroom farm. When we begin to prepare the bulk substrate, we have a big, large ribbon blender. It's a large mixing machine where we'll take fresh sawdust, cereal grains, and water, and we also use our recycled material from our farm. We mix all that together, we put it into a heat-tolerant microfiltered bag, we put it into a large autoclave, and heat the material up to 250 degrees for approximately 6 hours. And once the blocks cool down, then we do what we call inoculation, and that's where we'll take the spawn, which is the mushroom seed, and we'll broadcast some of that seed into each of the individual bags, and then we seal the bag up, and it's filtered. That only allows the mycelium to breathe out of the bag. Nothing can go in, so it's a sterile environment for the incubation phase. Once this process is over, the shiitake block takes on a brown color once it's done. It moves from initially very white, it gets some bumps that we call popcorning, and then the final stage, the block browns up. Once that block's brown, then we take those blocks to our other facility where we have greenhouses set up inside the building. And to open blocks is simply we tear the plastic bag off, and for the first time that the mycelium is catching the fresh air. So there's three things that trigger mushrooms to grow. One is a change in temperature, two is a rise in moisture humidity, and the third is a supply of fresh oxygen. And if we give the three things necessary for mushroom production at the same time at the right time, then about 10 days later we have our first crop. So we harvest the mushrooms, we clip the mushrooms, they go into plastic picking containers, and then we put them into the walk-in. They're packaged in 5-pound boxes, then delivered to local businesses and retail establishments, as well as food service companies throughout the Northwest.
Gradually, as things got bigger, I started doing more of the office work, sales, and the computer stuff, the bookkeeping, you know, the deliveries. Nothing makes me happier than to deliver my product and the chef open the box and just say, oh, you know, this is just amazing, you know, and that's why we work so hard to do that.
We're an old-time customer of Garden City Fungi. I think a lot of customers come in here and they want to know, what do you have that is Montana grown? You know, they want to know that we're helping to support another local business.
I guess that my view is mushrooms are something different, and they're really fun to learn about. And there's so many beautiful mushrooms out there.
I absolutely love to grow mushrooms. I love to produce food for people. I think it's probably one of the most important jobs that I can do for the world.